Hello everyone, Kevin Ikov here from Kevin Ikov Ministries. Today I'm just answering some questions from a fellow subscriber to my channel, and I'm very appreciative to all those that do try to subscribe, and there's some real gems in amongst many of my videos that are there that lots of people have never really looked into. I always try to give little gems in each video. A lot of them aren't really pointed out. They're there for those that are paying attention. And so part of developing a spiritual path and all of that is paying attention. I'll read the question as it was written. You've mentioned the Bhakti tradition. It's been a very important aspect and core of your path. Could you talk about what is Bhakti, a little bit about the ancient tradition itself, and how to incorporate Bhakti into our own practice? So basically Bhakti, which is a Hindu word, means devotion. And Bhakti itself means devotion to God. Because when the Hindus do their practice, they're talking about the devotion to God. Devotion to God doesn't mean necessarily devotion to the teacher or devotion to the guru. It means devotion to God. You can use the guru or the teacher as part of that devotion to move to divinity, but you have to realize the difference between the two when you're doing it. And some of that surrounds seva, which is also a divine practice as well, in which you're doing sacred work toward the divine for the humanity itself. And you can do that just by serving something like, the Peace Corps or something like that. That can be seen as divine seva. So anyway, back to Bhakti. What Bhakti itself is devotional in that there's nothing that stands between you and the divine. You are the divine servant. You've accepted and have even made a vow to the divine that you will serve the divine here. And I made a vow many years ago when I got really sick that I was only going to serve the divine. And it had nothing to do with getting better. I didn't make any kind of pride and say, oh God, if you make me better, I'll only serve you from now on. Because lots of people will do prayers and things like that. They'll say, well, if you give me this, I'll do that. No, that's not how that works. That's undermining your own thinking. You need to basically develop a devotional practice where it's just between you and the divine, and the experiences that you have will only be seen as divinity themselves. Even if you might say, oh, that was a bad experience. There's no such thing as a bad experience. That experience was meant for you. You are meant to see what it was supposed to unfold in you and what it's about. Bhakti as a devotional practice is profoundly wonderful, but it has to be done in the right manner. When did this tradition come about and all of that kind of thing? I guess you could say it goes all the way back to the Vedas themselves. Back to the days of the Vedas when they, and I don't even know how old that is. 10,000 years, maybe more. It goes back far, far, far long ago. And people were devoted to God. People were devoted to the divine. And they built, lots of them built temples and whatever. And then, of course, what ended up emerging out of that was a religion. But really, Bhakti doesn't have anything to do with religion per se at all. It has to do with your devotion to divinity. And that divinity will sustain humanity. It will sustain the earth. The planet Earth is part of the creation of the divine. We need to help resustain the earth itself for us to live on it, or we won't have any place to live. And that's what's going on right now. I don't have to point it out to you. It's happening. Things are occurring. The American Indians talked about it. If you break certain kinds of rules and laws and just start doing what you think as a human being it's okay to do, it's going to come back on you. Well, It's finally caught back up with us. And now we will have to pay for that. And so the consciousness that's coming into the planet right now is here to help restructure all of that planetary, environmental sustainability for humanity. Because without humanity, there can be no devotion. You have to develop devotion to those things you're working in. And many people develop it with passion. They work with passion with what they're doing. Scientists and different people, they will be passionate about what they do. That's how you need to be about your practice. You need to be passionate about the things you do and the things you bring into the practice. And this will help direct you toward that bhakti, toward that devotion. But don't get confused and sort of concerned with the term because I use bhakti and that's kind of what I ended up knowing. I knew the word devotion long before I ever knew the word bhakti. And you don't have to use the word bhakti. It just means devotion. Develop devotion the best way you can, the best way you know how to serve humanity. And I say humanity because I don't mean about serving yourself. Because often too many people start serving themselves and, I'll help teach other people. And the thing is, next thing you know, they're making all this money off of it. That's not devotion. Devotion has nothing to do with money. Money will corrupt you every single solitary time, even if you think it won't. Well, you know what? I'll only charge this little bit of money. I guarantee you, the moment you start doing it, you will end up going down a dark hole. And then you won't be able to pull yourself out. I'm not saying don't make a living. I'm not saying do certain things. But do not corrupt your practice, your devotional practice, by trying to bring monetary value into it. It's a wrong way to go. Every single time. I've seen it a million times. I've seen people do it. They're making money. They're doing well. But I'll tell you what. They're not going anywhere near the divinity. It just will never happen. It won't occur. It has to be a pure practice. And the purity comes from your heart. Because if you're unable to open your heart to the divine, you just won't get there. And that's what a lot of these practices and things that I have and the videos on here are to help you gain instruction into opening your own path. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I wish you health, happiness. Jai Bhagwan, Namaste. May you see the light within yourself and within all others.